Milan was 10 years old when he decided he would become a professional football player. Everyone laughed. His teacher patted him on the head. His mother said, "That's nice, sweetheart." Even his older brother teased him at the dinner table. But for Milan, it wasn't a dream. Dreams are soft, misty, distant. This was a promise, quiet, fierce, unshakable, made to himself one evening while watching older boys play on a worn-out dirt pitch behind his apartment building. The pitch had no grass. The goals were rusted pipes with no nets. But when the ball sailed through the air, something ignited in his chest. Every afternoon, while other kids played video games, Milan was on that pitch. Alone. Dribbling between imaginary defenders, shooting at a goal with no net, practicing free kicks until his foot ached. His boots were falling apart. The sole flapped open, wrapped in tape so many times it became a second skin. But every time he wanted to quit, he whispered, "One day I will play in the Champions League." At 14, everything changed. A scout appeared at a youth tournament, an ordinary man with extraordinary eyes. He wasn't watching the ball. He was watching the players, how they moved without it, how they reacted to mistakes. Milan played the match of his life, 2 goals, 1 assist, a victory. The scout wrote in his notebook and disappeared. A week later, Milan's mother came into his room, eyes red, holding her phone. They called. "The academy. They want you." The words he'd whispered 1,000 times on that dirt pitch suddenly felt like a road stretching out before him. But at the academy, Milan discovered something unexpected. Everyone was good. Everyone was fast. Everyone had trained with professional coaches since they were 8. For the first time, he didn't feel special. He sat on the bench, match after match. He called his mother one night, sitting in the dark. "I don't know, Mama." She was quiet, then said, "When you were 5, you fell off a wall. You cried for 2 minutes. Then you climbed back up. You always climb back up." At 16, he finally earned a starting position. The coach pointed at him, "You're in." He scored a scrappy goal, and from that day he never left the starting 11. His coaches predicted a bright future. Scouts returned. Momentum built. Then it happened. A rainy Wednesday, through on goal, one-on-one with the keeper, he planted his foot to shoot and felt the ground give way. His knee twisted at an angle no knee was meant to twist. A loud pop. He screamed. Torn ACL, season over. Maybe career over. The surgeon explained. Surgery, reconstruction, months of rehabilitation. No guarantees. Some players come back. Many don't. After surgery, Milan went home. To the small apartment with the thin walls and the view of the dirt pitch where it all began. While his teammates played matches, Milan sat on a sofa. He couldn't run. He couldn't kick. He couldn't walk without crutches. One evening, he overheard his coach visiting. Through the thin wall, the blunt words, "He'll probably never get back to his old level." Those words burrowed in like a splinter. But instead of breaking him, they fueled him. "You think I'm done? Watch me." He was at rehabilitation at 6 in the morning. When the therapist said 10 reps, Milan did 20. When the therapist said rest, Milan visualized. Running, sprinting, scoring, slowly, painfully, his knee healed. He jogged, then ran, then sprinted, then cut and pivoted and changed direction. Each time the knee twinged, he breathed and pushed through. At 19, Milan made his professional debut, a cold January evening, a half-empty stadium. Brought on as a substitute with the score tied 0-0. In the 78th minute, the ball came to him outside the box. One touch, another. And he struck it, the ball curling over defenders, dipping under the crossbar. The stadium erupted, his teammates swarmed him, and for one moment the world was exactly as he'd imagined at 10 years old. Within months, he was a sensation. Jerseys, billboards, magazines, brands. He bought his parents their first real home. His mother cried. His father put his hand on Milan's shoulder and said nothing. But success has a price. Slowly, like a tide creeping in, his focus faded. He missed training sessions, arrived late to meetings, left early. He was the star. The rules didn't apply. His performances declined. The curling shots sailed over the bar. Fans started booing. Pundits who once praised him now shook their heads. He had everything, but he threw it all away. He transferred to a massive foreign club. Everyone expected a fresh start. Instead, everything got worse. He couldn't keep up. Week after week on the bench, his face disappeared from billboards. Endorsements dried up. Party invitations stopped. The world forgot about him. He sat in his luxury apartment, 26 years old, surrounded by expensive furniture and silence. He had everything he'd dreamed of, and he had never felt more empty. What happened to me? At 27, Milan looked in the mirror, late, past midnight. The face was the same, but something was gone. The fire, the hunger, the light behind the eyes. The boy with the dream was gone. That night he made a decision. No more parties, no more distractions, only football. He called his agent and cancelled every endorsement. "I don't have a brand," he said. "I have a dream, and I forgot about it." He arrived at the training ground at 5:30 every morning. He ran, he drilled, he stayed late. The staff noticed, the players noticed. They'd seen this before, promises that faded in a week. But Milan didn't fade. He kept coming. An ambitious mid-table club offered him one last chance. The media called it a gamble. Has-been signs for minnows. Milan didn't argue. He arrived at 5:30 the next morning. He called it his last mission. Nobody expected anything. But they kept winning. And winning. And winning. Milan was different now. Not the flashy winger, but the heartbeat of the team. The one who tracked back and sprinted forward. The one who calmed the young players and pushed them when they needed pushing. They climbed the table. They defied expectations. Against all odds, they reached the Champions League final. The night before the match, Milan couldn't sleep. He thought about the dirt pitch, the broken boots. His mother's voice, "You always climb back up." The surgeon, "No guarantees." The coach, "He'll probably never get back to his old level." He smiled in the dark. "I'm not going back to my old level. I'm going higher." The final was a war. The stronger team dominated, 15 shots by halftime. In the 63rd minute, they scored. 1-0. Doubt crept into his teammates' eyes, but Milan gathered them. "We've been here before. They were wrong then. They're wrong now." 78th minute, equalizer, 1-1. The stadium erupted. The clock ticked. 85th, 87th, 88th. Everyone thought extra time, 89th minute. Milan intercepted a sloppy pass in midfield. He sprinted forward. Not fast, not like he used to be, but fast enough. Past one defender, a shimmy, past another. The stadium held its breath. 90,000 people, 100 million watching. The goalkeeper came off his line. Milan shot. The ball rose, curved, spun. The same trajectory he'd imagined 1,000 times on that dirt pitch. 1 second of silence. The back of the net. The stadium exploded. Not a roar, a detonation. His teammates grabbed him, lifted him, screamed his name. He dropped to his knees. Tears streamed down his face. He thought about the dirt and gravel, the rusted goalposts, the broken boots, the surgery, the loneliness, the doubt, the fame, the emptiness. The mirror at midnight. "One day I will play in the Champions League." He played 4 more seasons, no longer the fastest, but the wisest. He saw the game 3 moves ahead. He understood that football was about the team, the collective, the city, something larger than any single person. He helped young players avoid his mistakes, not by lecturing, but by being there, arriving early, staying late. At 33, Milan played his final match. A full stadium, banners. His name chanted, "Milan, Milan," the same way he'd imagined as a boy. He played 60 minutes. He didn't score. He didn't need to. When the final whistle blew, the entire stadium rose. Both sets of fans, the officials, the staff. Everyone. Milan looked up at the supporters, the ordinary people who had believed in him when he didn't believe in himself. And he understood something it had taken a lifetime to learn. His greatest victory was not winning the Champions League. His greatest victory was never giving up. The 10-year-old running to the dirt pitch alone. The 14-year-old who didn't feel special but kept going. The 16-year-old who heard never and turned it into "watch me." The 27-year-old who looked in the mirror, saw a stranger, and decided to become himself again. Every time he fell and got back up, Every time the world said no, and he said yes. That was the victory. That was the final dream.